Just a sequence of photos of my first day of golf here in the desert. We call it the Desert Disaster. Oh, excuse me, Desert Classic. Welcome to the Hamadi Golf Club here in Kuwait, south of Kuwait City. It seems like it's early yet. It's 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday, but let's see, Saturday is a work day for most people, so the course is empty. So what's the first thing you need to play desert golf? Well, a golf ball. That's a good start, but you'll also need what we call a piece of turf. Now this is to carry around, and you hook it to your bag, and then every time you hit a shot in the fairway, you're allowed to pick up the ball and put this turf under it. We'll explain more about this later. Okay, upon arrival on the first tee box, or concrete tee box, built out of brick and concrete, you have two choices. On the tee box is a large rubber mat in which you can stick your tee into it if you can find a slot between the pieces of rubber, or you can opt to take your little piece of turf, put it down, and not use a tee, and as Neil's doing in this picture, with an iron. Either way, it's very difficult. Of course, the rubber mat is not fixed to the concrete, so you also have to be careful about the mat sliding as you go into your backswing or into your forward swing. Now, also, you have to line up the mat with the direction you're going to shoot. If you try to shoot from a different angle than the mat's lined up with, it will mess up your eyesight, to say the least. Okay, let's assume for a moment that you've conquered the tee box and you actually hit one into the fairway. Your next challenge, as you can see in this picture, is to pick up the ball, which is easy. Place your piece of turf, AstroTurf, down on the ground, put your ball back down, and successfully hit the ball off of the little piece of 1 foot by 1 foot square turf without dragging your club back onto the turf, because you'll move the turf, and then hitting down into the turf, and as the club hits the ball, it will kind of take a divot, which means that the turf will slide forward about 5 foot. Then you have successfully hit a fairway shot. Okay, let's assume for a moment that you didn't hit the fairway, and your ball has gone off the fairway into the rough. Seems to be a contradiction of terms, but anyway, the white stake there marks the edge of the fairway. If your ball goes into the rough, you are no longer allowed to use your piece of turf. And I can understand that. There's actually more turf in the rough than there is on the fairway, but that is the rules. Before we move on to the greens, I do want to bring up one point. Here on this sand fairway course, we do have sand traps in the sand as hazards. Again, this is more like goofy golf. Well, let's start with a green as it may look as you're approaching it. Notice that the green is really brown, so therefore we don't call them greens here, we call them browns. Also notice that there's a what we call a berm. If you would like to, it's an oil-soaked, solid, almost like concrete levee around the green. We're not sure why, but this is the case. With this berm, unless you can hit the very small opening that you're supposed to walk through, chipping and running is without a doubt not possible. You can chip it and it will run over that berm, but trust me, it will not be in a straight line. If you hit into the green, it is oil-soaked sand, very much like oily concrete. And the ball will not take a divot into this, and it will not backspin and stop. Therefore, it could roll and will roll all the way across and over the back berm. Here's a shot a little closer up on the green, just outside the berm, showing you how the berm looks. Now, the green itself, the brown itself, is actually a oil-soaked sand with a very fine layer of sand on top, as you can see from the footprints on the green. This brings up another wrinkle and another reason why we call this goofy golf. As you approach the green, you're not allowed to wear spikes because the spikes would obviously leave too many holes in the oil-filled sand on the green. However, if you notice in this next picture, if you look closely and it's highlighted, you will see a broom laying next to the green. As you approach the green, you are to take the broom and sweep around the pin and a line back to your ball. This cleans and smooths out the area where the ball will take. Then after you're done, you again smooth out the green and pull the broom behind you to make your footprints in the sand disappear. Some holes, if you're lucky, happen to have a bigger opening to the berm than other ones do. In this case, this picture shows a green. The berm's almost all the way around it, but only the front is open. Therefore, you could hit a very halfway 7-iron and let it run up and run onto the green. Except, directly in front of the green, the sand turns to beach sand, therefore not allowing you to pitch and run as you would expect. Well, that takes you through a typical hole here at the Amati Sand Golf Course, Country Club, Sand Club, whatever you like to call it, and maybe you now get a different appreciation for why we call it Desert Goofy Golf. I have a few more pictures of the course itself and a couple of the holes. We'll let this run, and well, we hope you enjoyed our desert golf safari. Just remember, before trying this at home, please contact a seasoned professional desert goofy golf instructor. This could be hazardous to your health and safety. We hope you've enjoyed this short broadcast, and we'll see you again next time at the Desert Open of Kuwait.